Okay, part number four, Jake. Today we're going to talk about the big black box concept. How call analytics algorithms affect your dealership's phone call deliverability. This one is, man, this one's a little bit hard for me to even get my arms around because there's just nothing obvious about what's happening.
Well, this is really the major topic.
Yeah.
This is what you need to know. If you watch one thing to try to figure out why your calls are being labeled, this is where you want to be. And I want to start by mentioning that when we talk about the analytics and the algorithms, it's not that the carriers themselves, T-Mobile, Verizon, and AT&T, are running these algorithms. They have each they each have an exclusive partner who runs these algorithms on their networks. For example, AT&T works with a company called Hiya. T-Mobile works with a company called First Orion. Verizon works with a company called Transaction Network Services, or TNS for short. And so these companies are the ones who are managing the algorithms that are analyzing every bit about your calling habits and your calling history. And the truth of it is that the carriers and the analytics engines do not know who owns a phone number, and they don't know why you're calling. All they know is, hey, this phone number hit our network X times today and X times this week, right? And so they're looking at everything relating to your calling history and calling habits. They're looking at how often are you dialing? How long are your phone calls? How often do you connect with customers? What time of day are you dialing? Are you leaving voicemails or not? Really, and so on and so on. Everything relating to your calling habits, they're analyzing to determine what they want to do with these calls when they hit our networks. And one of the really interesting things I do want to mention here, because it's a very logical thing to guess, but it's not just about volume. So a lot of folks will guess and expect, hey, well, I'm labeled as spam because I'm making 10,000 calls a month, right? Well, no, that's not entirely the case. Volume certainly plays a part in it, but we have the ability to run these phone numbers before we ever work with you, before we ever register the phone numbers. And the crazy thing is that we see phone numbers that make 10,000 calls in a month and they're not labeled. Whereas with the same business, maybe they have a phone number that made 4,000 calls and it's labeled on two of the carriers. I've seen cases where a phone number made one phone call in the last 30 days, and that one call was labeled as spam. So it's truly not just a volume game. It's truly not a high number of dials. If I had to put it into one sentence, the carriers are looking for consistent traffic patterns, though what that means to them is anyone's guess.
Wow. I wish we knew, right? We'd be a lot better off if we knew exactly what they were monitoring. We could even do better.
Well, it makes sense, right? Because they don't make it public what they're doing. I know I can guess at the things they're tracking and I can guess at what gets you labeled and not, but they don't make it public and they purposefully don't make it public because they don't want actual scammers to be able to get to know this information to be able to get around the algorithms.
Sure.
It's to do the purpose that it's trying to do, it needs to be a black box, which unfortunately means that legitimate businesses are getting caught in the crosshairs.
Yeah. And that's why they call it potential spam,
And
right?
that's exactly right.
Yeah. All right. Anything else on this one, Jake?
Nope, just very important to know and thanks everyone.
Thank you.